Dire team banned. Phoenix's turn to pick.
Good evening and welcome to our second best of 3 series of the Epicenter C Winners Bracket Semifinals. My name is Hades and this is the match between TNC versus MVP Phoenix. And on alone, I'm joined by Scanzer. Are you there?
Yep, I am here and I am pumped and excited. These are without a doubt my two favorite teams in the entire world. And don't accuse me of bias because I am biased in favor of both of these teams. If anything, I might just like say cool things about both of them all game long. And there was a wonderful chat. I don't know if you saw in the lobby before with as the players started joining the lobby, MVP were like, "Hey TNC," and AU said something like, "Hey idols," and this is TNC for the longest time since I've watched them. Whenever like a sort of more established team, they play against them or they beat them, they always refer to them as their idols. And actually, Febby replied, "You're our idols," and there were some heartwarming moments where Febby said, "You know, we couldn't have got as far as we did without you guys." I don't know if it's that well known that right before the Shanghai Major, TNC actually won 3-2 in a very close best-of-5 series against MVP. The teams actually scrimmed against each other as well a bit before that and after that, I believe. And it was very evident MVP were open about the fact at the Shanghai Major with their success that they borrowed some drafting techniques from TNC. And these are, in some ways, these are teams who have learned from each other and gained from each other. And MVP have found that success on LAN at an international stage, but TNC are clearly a team that they respect, and we're getting right into the draft, so maybe we should get to that. But I'm just so pumped and excited to see these teams play against each other.
No, I agree. I mean, I've casted quite a number of Filipino games as well, and TNC, they are a very strong team, very versatile as well. I mean, we talked about it a couple of times over the past few days. He's a very strong player. He rarely loses his lane. So I want to see how he stands up against MVP, because like you said in the lobby, they have a lot of mutual respect for each other. So before we get dragged too much, let's get straight into the draft. We see the first pick Sven and the Lion. MVP Phoenix coming out with a comfortable vengeful spirit with the Invoker, something which I think Kyo or MP plays it. They like to play a cross-X Invoker or cross-X, so they always make it work.
And look at that. MVP Phoenix pick Invoker and they ban Phantom Lancer, because the picking Phantom Lancer into Invoker thing is something that TNC actually started, and most of the world knows about it because MVP have been doing it recently very successfully. They actually did it in one of the games of the finals of Dota Pit. They did it at the Shanghai Major a few times, and MVP showing like, we respect that this is a thing. This is not our thing. This is your thing, and we're going to take the Invoker, but we're not going to let you have the PL.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it starts out a bit like a pub strat, but going back to just a tiny quote which Fly said back at Dota Pit just before it ended, saying that, going for this high MMR, you shouldn't be too obsessed with it, but it's always a great goal because these pub strats always lead you to find counters against these strategies which you never really think of. And there we go. MVP, they're taking out the OD, so options are running up for TNC. Maybe we may see something like the Gyrocopter mid, which TNC have been known to play mid.
Phoenix's turn to pick.
I think I'm not too sure. It's difficult for me to predict. I want to say that Dubu and AU are the two strongest drafters of the region by quite some distance, actually. And they understand each other. They've played each other the best of 5 recently. They played a lot of scrims against each other, and it kind of does warp the dynamic somewhat when two teams understand each other that closely and have respected each other and followed each other. And TNC bring out that bounty hunter definitely suggests a different angle for them, because what it means to start with is that Lion is probably going to be solo support in a safe lane. It's something that MVP might be able to abuse, and I think that's the response from MVP. They picked the Tusk, which is a hero that very possibly could end up abusing the TNC safe lane. Bounty Hunter can actually come back to the safe lane. We have seen some teams do that in the past, but usually it's roaming onto the mid and the off lane. And yeah, I hear you reacting to TNC picking up the Jakiro, which is a Teehee special right now. This is like their favorite pushing hero in the game. They picked the mid Jakiro. Teehee plays pretty much, these are the things he plays. He plays carries in the mid lane, like Sven, Phantom Lancer, Juggernaut, those kinds of interesting roles, and he plays Jakiro. Those are like his two things at the moment.
Yeah, but this is what I like about TNC. I mean, this
5
is why
seconds
I like
remaining.
how you can never really predict. I would say this is slightly more controlled version, stronger than first
Reserve
departure when it comes to
time.
drafting. And I mean, yeah, they like to pull out the occasional surprises here and there, but there's always this logic behind it which you can sort of see. And let's just hope MVP can actually play against this. So I mean, for now, do you think it's gonna be like a T-Heat, Sven or Jakiro mid? I mean, I
No,
favor
no.
Jakiro mid more.
T's Jakiro. T's Jakiro. I don't think they've ever picked a Jakiro that was for anyone except for TE. I actually think that every TNC draft that has a Jakiro in it, it's TE. So I think it's extremely
10
unlikely it's anything
seconds
else. I also think that the Jakiro with the Bounty Hunter should do really well against the Invoker. But the concern
5
for me, if you're
seconds
TNC, is that MVP have noticed Bounty Hunter is a hero that usually roams away from the safe lane. If their safe lane is
Reserve
Sven and
time.
Lion against Darkseer and Tusk, they're gonna get destroyed. The Sven's gonna have a very hard time farming early on in the game.
That's true, and I mean, Jakiro mid, I believe this is a strategy which they may have taken from the NA scene, because I believe NA, especially back in Shanghai Major, Jakiro mid was something which only teams like Complexity, teams and Archon, they're the only teams who would run the Jakiro mid. So hopefully this will work out. Maybe TNC can sort of improve on the strategy a bit more. And I like the Bounty Hunter pick, just because you can screw around the lanes, and I guess that's why MVP, they go for Tuskar. Always great for that shards, pretty much like an Earthshaker in a way, where he's great for just catching you, forcing you into a very bad position and stuff. So for the final
No,
picks in
no.
TNC,
I mean, the Tusk pick has to do with the
10
Bounty Hunter
seconds
pick, but this is what I'm saying. It's not about dealing with it directly. I really feel like that it's a response in the sense
seconds
of,
remaining.
because you have Bounty Hunter, we can now pressure your safe lane.
Phoenixes
That's the
turn
plan.
to
And
pick.
very, very interesting for TNC to finish with an off-lane Broodmother for Sam H, which is super interesting considering the fact that there's already a Darkseid and MVP Phoenix which could just match up against it. But this is what I'm saying. There's a mind game involved here. I feel like TNC spot the fact that MVP want to run Darkseid and Tusk against the Sven and Lion, and that's going to be a losing lane for TNC. They pick the Brood. If you put the Darkseid against the Brood now, well, then you don't have that pressure on the
10
Sven and Lion
seconds
anymore. And
remaining.
remember that the Bounty Hunter can still help out the Brood. With the help of the Bounty Hunter, the
5
Brood could even
seconds
beat the
remaining.
Darkseid in a 1v1. So now it's like the ball's back in MVP's court. They need to now figure out how do they
Reserve
react to
time.
this, and I'm not too sure.
I actually like this pick. I mean, I agree with you on how the Broodmother, and this is where this is where the mind games comes in. So MVP Phoenix, maybe they want to consider other heroes, but the thing about the Broodmother, she's always going to be there. There's always the threat of that lane pushing in, forces you to split up, and MVP really likes the early pressure. But Ember Spirit, so with the Venge, I guess that's okay. They should be able to kill the Ember if they can zone out Broodmother enough.
I mean, so this is the point. So this is exactly what. So I think MVP wanted to find a way that they could deal with the Brood pick without switching their Darkseid to the safe lane, because the way the draft developed to start with, it was fundamental to their draft. They wanted to run the Darkseid and Tusk to shut down the Sven. And so they pick up the Ember Spirit, and I think you're exactly right that with Ember and Vengeful Spirits, they probably can deal with the Brood perfectly fine. The Bounty Hunter might get in the mix and cause some issues, but I actually think that if MVP played right, the Vengeful Spirit and Ember Spirit can just beat the Bounty and the Brood together. And again, we go back to that concern, which for me is the big talking point early on in this game will be,
Prepare for
do
battle.
TNC get that farm on Raven?
Well, we'll just have to see. Now we've just entered the game, introducing the teams on the Radiant side for MVP. Kiwo playing on the Invoker mid, 4F going to the offlane on that Darkseer. We have Lord Dubu on the Vengeful Spirit, Febby playing on the Tuskar, and we're gonna have MP on the Ember Spirit in the safe lane.
Yeah, on the side of TNC, it's Raven on his carry Sven, it's Sam H on his offlane Brood. Tihi will be playing as Midjakiro, and Winter G Small Sun, who, as a joke, calls himself Piladai, playing Lion, which is the Piladai hero, and AU on the roaming Bounty Hunter. So, I mean, the roaming will be a big story here too. The roaming Bounty Hunter on one side, the roaming Tusk on the other side, and you do see that Febby's got Dust and Sentries, and I feel like he'll spend most of his time with the Darkseer, but he might also be moving around the map just to try and directly counteract the movements of the Bounty Hunter. Those are both things he can do, and remember the Darkseer can actually pressure on the Sven and the Lion on his own anyway, even if the Tusk isn't with him.
I'm just worried right now because MVP, they're pooling a lot of resources and a lot of detection just to lock down this Broodmother and the Bounty Hunter. So you see, if these ganks don't really work
30
out, this is
seconds
where
to
the
battle.
economy is not going to look very good for them. And I worry because I feel that TNC have the slight edge in terms of coming online when it comes to the draft.
I don't know. I mean, like exactly the thing I keep going on about is Sven gonna find a way to get farm, laning against the Darkseer and possibly a Tusk as well. I don't know. I mean, Jakiro, yes, you're right. Jakiro has an easy time, and Broodmother could have an easy time if it's not dying. But
The battle
Sven, I think,
begins.
probably has a very difficult time in this game, and so it's not obvious to me that TNC have an easier time coming online. But obviously, if either team's rotations and roaming is extremely successful, that would be dictating of the pace of the early game, regardless of the lane setup.
Alright, so there we go. Bounty Hunter just casually placing a ward down. The sentry over there is not going to scout anybody, so it's a bit of a wasted ward early for now. I like what Ayo is doing. He looks like he's trying to snap the courier, waiting for a salve maybe, but no, the courier's at the top lane, so we're not going to see that just yet. And this Darks here looks like he will be still going up against this Rogue Knight. Raven, you can see already he's taking a lot of harassment from the Ion Shell. Bottom lane, Sam's still trying to find his way to level 2, that very critical level 2. Because once he hits level 3 to 4, that's where he hits critical mass, and they have to lock him down by then. Villain an attempt at Teehee, but not really there.
No, I don't know if it's a kill attempt as much as just a little bit of harassment. Like, they know that T is quite comfortable in this matchup, Jakiro and Invoker, so the task starts there. Just give Q a little bit of help at the beginning of the game. As you can see, he's still getting a bit behind. I mean, I think it's a slightly favorable lane for the Jakiro at the beginning. And AU's Bounty Hunter is going to come across as well because, well, no, he's just picked up, I think it's late Over Venom, and he's going to sneak back around to the top lane. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier on. Bounty Hunter usually wanting to roam to mid and off lane, but they recognize that they actually need a little bit of extra help against this Darkseid, otherwise Sven won't be able to keep up his farm, or certainly won't be able to shut down the Darkseid. They're going to try and kill the Darkseid right now, and I don't know if they're able to catch him.
It's a close one, yeah, you know, it's because the minute Sven goes closer, Foref will probably have an inkling that AO is in the neighborhood, because he hasn't shown himself elsewhere on the map.
Lane, that's Q nearly dies, but he's going to turn around and...
Oh, that's really close, 40 HP and he will just salve up.
We were talking about the fairy fires earlier when we were watching mid one. He's really good at them, but Kyo had a really close fairy fire call there. He chased him and he ended up ducking down into these trees where he was on fog, getting the fairy fire off and almost turned things around on Teehee. Again, I think that this is a lane that favors Teehee somewhat, but there's potential for Kyo to outplay him.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, the spider army is starting to grow, so this is where things look a bit scarier for MP. But actually, maybe not. Looks like they're just gonna kill the spiders ASAP. But I think Sam H is used to playing these matchups. And the courier does get snapped by AO. Talk about that, and there we go. Things will look a bit scary for Kyo. Luckily, he did get the salve, so he will be able to stay in lane just a bit longer.
Yeah, he got his boots. So the courier got him beforehand. It was sniped on the way back rather than on the way there. It would be much worse if it was on the way there. But gonna try and... I mean, AU's I don't know if he's considering diving, or is he just sneaking across while... You see Darkseid TP in here. I feel like they... Oh, is he just going to farm? He wanted to get the stack on time, but A's going to block the stack.
Nicely done. So that's a bit of his comeback farm really affected right there. Because the lane looks a bit more dangerous. Winter, he's just controlling the top lane very nicely. Bottom lane, I'm still looking...
I think with the Bounty Hunter showing itself at all at the top lane, suddenly it becomes really scary for the Darkseid. I'm still curious about the fact that MVP didn't try to run the dual lane, which I think would have done very well with Darks in the Tusk, but I guess it comes down to the fact that they feel like their Tusk needs to help the mid lane a lot in this game, because it's just that T Jakiro is putting a lot of pressure on Q. I mean, it's looking even right now, but that's partially because of the supports being nearby.
True, and I mean, I guess maybe you just don't want to take that risk, because Teehee, you can see he almost killed QO, so that's probably, giving them a warning. Now AO, he's gonna leech, or try to leech his level 2 away from 4F. Whereas decided to stick to jungling. Fabi, you probably head to the top lane for a bit of EXP. Still haven't seen any kills right now. Oh,
yeah, sorry, you're gonna say before I interrupted you that MP is still doing really well at the safe lane for MVP, and Broodmother getting levels, but hasn't actually gotten that much farm, so they're doing a good job to... I guess Sam knows that they can kill him, and so he's settling for getting a little bit less than what he'd like to get, just to make sure that he doesn't die. It's actually quite incredible there's no kills in this game yet, and again I want to say that it speaks to the level of play and understanding of these teams of each other, because these are both teams that, especially with the lineups they have, would like to make early kills, absolutely, and so far there's been some close calls, but nothing quite yet, getting the whole way
they're
there.
going young kill.
Dive.
We have the ice path, there's no detection and alacrity, and very quick fingers there from QO.
And this is, by the way, again, a deliberate decision, because QO is playing a Quas Exort Invoker, but he has that early point in Wex because of, I mean, obviously the alacrity is important for dealing with the Jakiro, but it's also the Ghost Walk. I feel like both of those skills are needed for this lane. He needs the Ghost Walk to survive the ganks, and he needs the alacrity to actually be able to farm against the Jakiro. I think without it, he'd probably be struggling.
And it's really hard for this lane to be pushed into the tower because going up against the Jakiro, he's maxed out Dual Breath and Liquid Fire. Not pushing this lane out anytime soon. That's the plan. They're okay with that. As long as he gets his last hits, he should be content with this lane. Just having a quick pause.
It's hard to use Jakiro works though. They kind of sit around. He sits on the lane, and if you leave the lane, he's gonna kill your tower almost immediately. If you stay in the lane, he's gonna give you a hard time and force you to like deal with him all the time. And later on, once TNC group up, you'll see that the push is actually just ridiculous. Like Jakiro has a very unique effect on pushing power in that it's the only hero in the game that you're gonna, with one creep wave, you're gonna kill a whole tower because you have a Jakiro, and your teammates go there, and then the tower just like does nothing to protect itself. Heroes have to always come and protect towers, and this hero really punishes teams who think, oh, they'll slowly chip at our tower, don't worry, we'll go there later, because that usually you don't get the chance to do that.
Oh, and I think Ayo, he scouted at the courier, he's gonna be going for it. He wants to snipe his courier. Oh, he gonna get it.
He's been gone on in the mid lane.
One more right click. You get the courier, and meanwhile Teehee, like that they're going on him, and the Sigil just slowing him down. Ayo. Here, Boba Venom slow, value slow. Not really, he's gonna go for the bounty rule instead, and the courier is gonna get sniped as well. Didn't really see what was on him, but it's out Teehee. Okay, so it'll be first blood right here, and QO will get himself a nice kill on Teehee, the last hit there. That's soon.
It was a bracer on the courier. The bracer, that's not really much. It's more a shame that it dies because it doesn't need to. It's just that they were focused, AU and TU were both focused on trying to get Teehee out alive and don't micro the courier properly, and well, that's 3 couriers so far dead in this game. There's only 1 hero kill in 6.5 minutes, but three couriers have been killed.
Really huge amount here. Alright, so couriers and deaths. This game, I mean, it seems a bit more passive. I think both teams, like you said, they really understand each other very well. And if memory serves me right, I think these two teams have scrimmed quite often in the past before as well. So it's understandable. Yeah. Because I think in the lobby...
Yeah, sorry, they've scrimmed a lot and they've played a best of 5 against each other recently, and they've been very open about how they borrow things from each other's strategies. And this is the interesting for me, because most people would assume that these are teams that both be aggressive, and they kind of do, they like to fight, but it's actually more complicated than that. You know, liking to fight is not going to say you're going to force fighting if the enemy team knows how to react and knows how to, you know, respond to your movements. Like, if they find an opportunity or an opening, either of these teams could suddenly become very aggressive, but they're not going to force those openings. They're not, you know, they understand when the aggression is appropriate.
That's true. And I mean, I was just about to say as well, I mean, back in the lobby, I mean, you pretty much said it all. But I think right now, TNC, they don't want to sit back for long, because if they play this farm game, it's going to be quite scary. I think Ember Spirit into the Darkseer combo is the last thing you want to be playing against. Because the Jakiro sooner or later will fall, like, he will fall off in terms of scaling late game to a Jakiro.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. The plan for TNC is to get an earlier timing, right? So Jakiro is going to have a timing which pushes, and Sven is supposed to get much more farm, much more quickly than Ember Spirit. So the idea here for TNC, I think, is that around about 20-25 minutes, Sven's going to be really big. They're going to group and push, and if you fight us, we've got this really strong Sven. If you don't, we're going to kill all your towers with Jakiro. Plus the trap threats if you're indecisive. Whereas I agree, for MVP, they represent a good late game, they represent a good team fight, but I think their timing is a little bit later maybe than TNC's.
Meanwhile, we have a smoke from Fabi and Dubu. Looks like they were going to hit to the top lane. Try to look for either Winter G or maybe Raven. So the Darkseer, I mean, the Snowball and the Iron Shell, that actually really hurts. There we go, it's already being set up. Firth, will they go here on Raven? There we go, the Snowball coming in. The Surge is going to follow. You have the stun and the wall. Stun strike not going to be there. Actually, wait, it's still going to get the last hit. So Invoker getting himself a nice bit of gold, and his Midas should be... Oh, it's already completed anyways. Just got it.
Wow.
In the middle lane, they are going for him.
Yeah,
Sam H. They're going straight for him, and... Waited, but no, Jakiro's going to get the last hit. MP Searing Change, but not going to land. He's going to land on a couple of spiders, and that's it. And Sam H runs for the hills for the neutral creeps with his babies.
And this is what Zai used to do with Broodmother, by the way, build a web, like a chain of webs from the bot lane to the mid lane, and so as soon as they realize there's a commitment from MVP to kill the top lane, he can quickly come across as the Brood, and they can actually make that return kill in the mid lane. So I think it's very good thinking by TNC, like, we're gonna get a trade in another part of the map.
And he still gets his Midas in good time as well. I mean, it's 9 minutes and a half in with a Midas and a Bird Mother who did not really farm. I would say it's still a huge win.
Yeah, he's had it for a while actually. He had it even before that kill, so
Yikes.
I think it's perfectly fine.
For just cutting the creep wave, AO is just happy to get EXP, but this tower should be falling because I don't think TNC can really contest for now. They're still stacking Ancients, and this is scouted out completely by MVP.
Is under attack.
I just want to see. I think that TNC probably want to kill a tower sometime soon, and are they gonna be?
Oh, they're going on him here,
and he's the one being gone on.
Yeah, the macro fire. There's a lot of commitments on the macro fire. All his remnants as well, I believe. Sunstrike. Oh, the vacuum back, not gonna connect, and Ember Spirit damage will get the kill. He has one more remnant. Oh, I think he messed up there. Probably wanted to remnant first before using the chains, but they're okay with that win. AO here, he scouted out. The dust has been used. Do they have one more dust? Yes, Dubu has it, and AO is most certainly dead here. So top lane, VP starting to find a bit of momentum, 4-1.
It is interesting that MP is actually playing the Ember Spirit this game and Kyo is playing the Invoker. I mean, this is a versatile team and they do both historically play both heroes. But more recently, you'd expect to see Kyo playing the Ember and MP playing Invoker. MP played Invoker almost every time they picked it at the Shanghai Major. And Kyo has been playing the sort of safe lane hard carry. So for whatever reason, MVP decided to switch it around in this game. And I don't know, maybe that speaks slightly to that there was like a slight mechanical failing there by MP. I mean, it's a very minor thing.
I think it's okay, but this is something which, I mean, MVP, they are used to doing. This is what they will do, occasionally swap here and there. In QO and Febby, they will go for the smoke a lot. So who's leading the charge this time? Febby once again in the front lines, and MP with his BOTs, he's come to the top. This is where they will start to fight, now that they've got the core items. They find Raven, Snowball maybe, yep, they will go. Doesn't really bring the Invoker along with him, and the shard is now off the mark. Afraid from his team, this is a bad idea, but they will find AO, they have the dust, so AO is just dead. MP happy with this, so maybe they'll try to put a bit of pressure on the top T2 as SamH pushes into the bottom T1 and making his way closer and closer to an Orchid.
Yeah, and you gotta remember, this is something about the Brood again, like, sure, Darkseer can lane against Brood, but the way that MVP are playing, they want their Darkseer with them whenever they're fighting, and so the Brood still gets space and still gets some time to push and farm, which I think is part of what TNC were counting on with this Brood pick, because they did pick it after the Darkseer pick.
And this is something which is very, very MVP as well. I mean, they will take whatever objectives they can so that they can invade the enemy jungle. And at this point, they already know that this, you know, the ancient stacks are cleared and it's piling up again. At some point, they'll probably look to contest it. Itemization for MP. He may console.
They're going on for the bot lane, and I think he's got it from there.
He's gonna run away.
If the Orchid's finished on Brood, that's an easy kill, but they didn't have yet the Orchid. They've got he's got one Oblivion Staff, and the recipe needs to farm another Oblivion Staff still.
Which this will actually force MP to go into either a BKB or Manta Star, just to get rid of that Orchid silence. Here we go, the Dual Breath coming out, and Invoker will get himself another tower kill. Charge just trying to scout things out. But AO's in the neighborhood. Ooh, and Febby looks like they want to go for this, and they're committing for Teehee. But Impale coming in, stopping Febby in tracks, and the Magnifier, Magic Missile lands into the Teehee. AO being caught by the concept of Kyo. Here comes the Sunstrike, it's gonna land, not really, just kidding, and the Warrior's Punch is gonna, oh, doesn't really kill anybody. MP going on Teehee, using all his remnants, and everyone's really, really very low. They need one more stun. Kyo taking a lot of damage from the spider, is gonna get swapped out by Lord Dubu, and Kyo will just back off. Sam looking for more blood. For Rev, he lays on the web, and vacuumed back in.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
yeah, it's a pretty good trade for TNC overall, because their Sven killed top tower. They got 2 kills with, I think, both track, and only the Jakiro dies.
Still going here. Ember Spirit getting himself SamH. A nice double impale into Ravage. Sunstrike. No, he jukes it just in the nick of time, looking to deny himself to Roshan. He really wants to. Needs to click. No, Invoker's gonna get himself another kill, so QO. I lost count.
I'm surprised
the
the SamH just Brood went back in there. I feel like he gave them a bit of a freebie. Not sure why he did that. So, did buy some time for the Sven, who got sort of half the HP on the tier 2 as well, but still a little bit surprising.
And 4F is closer to Greaves. I believe he just bought it. Yeah, that's his Greaves completed. So that's plenty of sustainability for MVP so that they can take earlier objectives. And you can tell that they really don't want to let the Sven keep on stacking.
Yeah, I think that MVP are probably slightly ahead as the game stands, because TNC would want to be more ahead. The game's kind of even on most metrics, but TNC would want to be put at a tower advantage. They'd want Sven to be quite far ahead instead of just like slightly ahead of the two carries in their team.
Despite
even
having
though the
all the
game-
towers. Oh, sorry, you were saying?
Sorry, yeah, even though the game looks kind of even, I think where each team relative to where each team wants the game to be, it's a much better place for MVP than TNC.
Yeah, and I just want to point out in the network chart, you can tell it's really very even. Like you said, MVP, they just took a slight lead, 1,000 gold advantage, but only because of all these objectives that they are taking. And TNC, I feel that once this Sven gets a blink, it'll look very, very scary for them.
Yeah, and what's new, the Bounty Hunter only recently got level 6, the Jakiro just got a Veil, Lion only just got his level 6, so TNC could win a big fight here with a whole bunch of track kills, and that would be enormous.
Now they smoked up, they're going for the side flank.
They gotta kill the
Walker
Doctor,
around.
Doctor's got creeps, like...
Are they going on Invokers? Then in the vacuum on 2 into the wall. Raven taking a bit of damage, and the Ice Wall catches up the 2. Doesn't have massive fire, but there we go. The Searing Chains catches up the Raven. MP gonna get himself killed. No, Invoker just hitting, and now there's a snowball for all the way to Tiki. Right behind the enemy T2, and it's a nice double impale, but there we go. MP he's diving deep on this one, looking for the double chains into AO and Vintage G. And Shuriken lands all the way behind his teammates, but the finger is gonna finish off the Febby right at the back line, and 4F does back up. Doesn't have Grease for it, on cooldown for 20 more seconds, and Dubu is gonna TP out. QO also happy to run back. As they do get the T2, but they're diving quite far for this, looking for the Ice Pop, catches Febby just at a 4F, just at the very tip. Fire and the Shuriken Toss will kill him off, and MP really very low. Looks like they may keep on chasing for this. They just need one more Shuriken Toss. This MP needs to start bottling himself up right now. No one is turn change, but Ayo is there. Oh, the Flame Guard just saving him just barely for now. MP will have to run. He will have to TP out. Do we have another Shuriken Toss? Such strike! Ice Pop doesn't really connect, and Ayo falls very, very low. So, was that a win for TNC or for MVP?
Yeah, it's probably overall a win for TNC, but only a very small one, and that's because the way that they start the fights, I feel like, has problems. I don't think that... I think they had to start by going on the Darkseer. They let the Darkseer get off his Greaves and his Vacuum and his Wall, and that's the key hero for them to control. And this is, if we talk about MVP learning a lot by playing TNC about drafting and their draft, I think what TNC can stand to learn a lot from MVP is about team fighting, and it's something that MVP has done better than almost any team in the world at the moment, to recognizing which heroes to target with which spells in which fights.
Febby, Dubu, and Kyo looks like they're gonna find Raven. His Gun Strength is just about to expire. Yeah, the Sunstrike is coming in and it's doing him, but he still has a lot of HP. Febby is very, very unhealthy. And Kyo as well. Look at that cleave damage. Raven could have just clicked on Kyo. Needs one more. Actually, no, cancels the attack animation as Random gets the MP having a battle of AO. Good Mother does kill the Darkseer at the side, and MP is really very, very low. And the Shuriken Toss still gonna fall him to the side, and he is tracked up. TNC is somehow winning that fight, which looks like a disaster as he was separated from the team. But no, that will be a huge victory, and they will walk away with the spoils of war.
TNC hitting their timings, like really it's going well for them, and in this one they did put a special emphasis on dealing with the Darkseer, and honestly right now the Brood could just orchid up the Ember Spirits, and if they deal with the Darkseer between the Sven, the Jakiro and the Lion, TNC are probably going to be winning fights right now. I don't think the Invoker can do enough to control the fight on his own, and the Ember can do nothing while orchided. So it's really about how well the TNC deal with the Darkseer. I think that the next 5-10 minutes of the game, every single fight is going to be about Forev. We watch Forev, we see like, does he have a good fight, does he have a big impact, or did TNC play him out of the fight? And that's the only important question, I think, for this stage of the game.
Yeah, I think that was a bad mistake as well, being drawn all the way into the fight right all the way in the low ground over there, before the secret shop, because we saw, without Forev, without that sustain, the Guardian Greaves, his team just melts at the side, especially to this Sven, who was actually fighting 3 heroes by himself, but somehow managed to come out on top of that. And MP is still 600 gold away from his Battle Fury, so maybe when he completes his items, you know, then things will look a bit better for them.
I think they could kill MP if they wait for he jumps out just on time, because he's still finishing the Battle Fury, and only after that could he go for a Manta Star or BKB. The Orchid's going to represent a very serious threat to him for quite some time, and I was talking about before in the fights, but also in terms of pickoffs, he needs to be very careful about exactly how long he farms for, how long he pushes for.
TNC, they have the finger up. I think they want to smoke, because right now they're waiting for Jakiro to push out this lane. Vintage and Raven is waiting very patiently, but this ward over here should scout them out, so this is a very, very good ward from MVP. Oh, it just expired! Oh, this is perfect timing for TNC. They should be worried. MP should be very, very worried right now. Bottom lane MP is the prize.
Well, there's gonna be smoke from TNC, and I think they considered going for the rush, but
Oh no, they got an investor and this is going to be MP. But he remnants back just in the nick of time.
MP's been really good at that this game. I mean, here it's just because he finished his battlefield round to go back, but this is like the second or third time in a row that a rotation to kill him has failed. And this is MVP and MP in particular judging very well, you know, based on what they can and can't see of TNC, whether it's safe to be out on the map alone. And you see here, MVP actually grouped up as 5, expecting a smoke, and they're going to be ready for it.
Here it goes. And it's a beautiful ice tab and Macropie landing on 3. The figure not able to kill 2, but it's a 3-man back. And of course the Battlefield, the creep not going to do as much for him. Laying down the wall, it's going to go into everybody who's walking through it. S4, so tanky but not tanky enough. Jakiro's going to get a kill, and the Tornado's no, just a bit too short. And they will keep on going.
Yes.
I think they want
MVP like completely expected that smoke, and they grouped up, and unfortunately they got caught, just like multiple hero Stormhammer, multiple hero Ice Path, and Jakiro is really one of these annoying heroes to take fights against because you can't decide what kind of priority he is. You know, like, is Jakiro a hero that you need to focus on first? He's got the drum, he's got the veil, he's going to spam out a lot of annoying spells on you, but you know, he's quite tanky and his damage isn't burst. He just does a lot of things over time, and I think the Jakiro's value in the team fight actually really shows there when, even though his Ice Pot's only level 1, hits for 2 heroes for a second, and never mind his maxed out spells plus his veil, the impact that they're having in the fights, and it's really telling to me that MVP grouped up very deliberately, expecting to be smoked into, and I mean, they're complaining about ping now. Maybe they feel like they couldn't react as quickly as they would have liked to. If the ping was a bit better, then they would have been able to have faster reactions, because they certainly were expecting TNC to run into them.
Indeed, and I mean, like you mentioned, it's only a level 1 Ice Path. He actually caught 4 heroes in that, 3 to 4 heroes. That was really huge, and that was enough to get a perfect stun for this event to land onto 2 heroes. And there you can see 3-for-0 trade, and this gold graph, which was going in favor of MVP, just drops all the way straight back down in favor of TNC. And since we have a pause, let's take a look at item progression. I mean, Ayo, he's not as squishy as you would think of it as a bounty. He has his cane boots, he has mech, he has his urn, and a magic wand. He's actually pretty rich for someone who hasn't really farmed.
Yeah, I mean, and it's track kills, right? It's the tracks that they've been getting off in these fights. Not too long ago, he only had an urn. Now he has a mech, now he's got another 1,000 gold, and this is why I think MVP decided now's the time to pause. We want to deal with the ping issues if we have them, because MVP, a team that historically lose a few fights, they don't really mind. They'll go win the next fight. When you're playing against a bounty hunter, it's so much more snowboardy. If you're going to lose a few fights against a bounty hunter, oftentimes the game just ends. It's like you don't get more opportunities, you just get those 2 fights. So I can't actually emphasize how important the next 10 minutes of the game are for MVP. And if TNC kept having the kind of snowboardy fights they've had for the last few minutes, MVP could just be out of the game very quickly. Well, alternatively, if MVP turned it around and win 1 or 2 fights themselves, they could really make that gap. They could get Ember Spirit to his next item, they could get Darkseid to his next item, Invoker to his next item, and all of a sudden they're the ones who've got the power to deal with TNC.
And okay, so for now, I mean, do you think there's anytime soon you'll see? I mean, you talked about the next 10 minutes. Will we see like maybe a rush attempt? Will Roshan be the next big thing, which will decide whether we see like more objectives taken?
Well, I mean, it's complicated in this game because I don't think MVP can take rush very easily. I think it's very risky for them to do it positionally. But TNC, if they go for rush, it's maybe one of the better parts of the map for MVP to win a big fight with the Ember Spirit, Darkseid, Tusk, Invoker combo. So I would expect that neither team would go for rush unless they've like killed key enemy heroes and then feel like it's just safe.
One team, right. So mid T1, the fortification will be forced out. Raven in a bad position, and MP, oh, he's remnant back in. He wants to go, he gets the chain, but now he's gonna go back out heavy. They're going straight for Raven. They want to kill him, who hasn't been able to cast a single spell, and that stun gets off just in the nick of time. Raven getting the kill here, and he's silenced up. Oh, look at the bottom. He's coming back again, and there we go. He's gonna chase after the spider. The Inti spider gets squashed like a bug, and MP really get away in the nick of time. He gonna get himself a kill as the bounty finds himself another, and the ice path he has to run. Febby still has the shots. The snowball's gonna catch him just right there, and the sigil's not gonna really save him. Oh wait, the magic wand just in the nick of time, but the shots is gonna kill him. So 3-for-2 trade, and you can see here Winter G, he used a finger, but I didn't really see on who.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a small win for MVP, but only a small one because there's TNC still had track kills, like 2 for 3. I think that the pause maybe hurts TNC a bit there because they looked a bit, they didn't have their bearings with the game and pause. Like they just won a very big team fight, and usually when a team has just won a very big team fight and the enemy team is respawning, the respawning team is an advantage because, you know, you all got 12 and then all your spells ready. And I think TNC were maybe a little bit too blasé about that engagement. Still ends up being only slightly advantageous for MVP, but TNC needs to be careful. They have to maintain their composure. Their line has nearly got a blink, and their bounty hunter just bought an Netherlands. This is not a pickup I've ever seen, but I immediately think that it's a good one. It's actually, I mean, longer range track and Shuriken especially, which got nerfed, right? When they added that bouncing ability to Shuriken, they made it short range, but it's gonna be really nice. And we talked about the rush before. MVP are trying their luck at this rush.
Gonna card it. I like it for the Shuriken toss damage because you gotta remember Ether Lens also boosts a bit of magic damage. 8 to 10 amp, so even if it's not much, it's still always significant. That bounce is really, really annoying. Raven wants to go.
MVP expecting a fight.
Yeah, they want to go. Fight is coming in, the ice wall comes down, and you can see he's back to straight up to the cliff. He's not coming down anytime soon. He has to TP out. And MVP, if they have to fight, now is the time. Simage watching from the cliff, and so is the Sven. Actually, he's keeping out forever, going ham. MP so as well, and Winter G, they will keep the Darks here right there. And now MVP, suddenly there on the charge. They go, they will find Sam Page, Snowball connect, and of course there we go, the Warriors punch up in the air, MP silenced up, they want to go Kyo, immediately swapped out by Lord Dubu, and Winter G, they want to find themselves another tracker, maybe find, they will get the bench in the end. So Raven now on the charge, MP, chains again, slowing him in his spawn, and of course he's taking a lot of damage from the fort, he wins Kyo, maybe he can find Winter G, he's out just in the nick of time, and Febby is a bit too slow, so that was I would say a win for TNC. They stalled the Roche, they bait all the spells out.
Well, yeah, the rush is still there, and actually if they realized how low he was, they could have maybe finished themselves. Did Raven actually TP off the cliff there? How did he get off the cliff?
TP it out. No choice,
okay, so it took a while to get. I was just wondering because that was, I feel like that was already cleverly planned bait by MVP. If they kind of
very close. The Fort Spirit. Winter G trying the Impale, doesn't really get in. That's a dominating streak going the way of Kyo, and they go straight for Winter G MP and definitely blast Kyo with a double kill, mega kill streak, and they will go ahead to complete this Roshan. So TNC just not grasping full use of that opportunity presented to them.
It's so clever by MVP. The previous one, they lost the fight, and this one, they're so aware that TNC don't want to give up the rush, but they also know that the Invoker can kind of solo the rush. They put him in there alone and they just baits, and like I said before, TNC going for rush when MVP is alive is dangerous because of the AoE combo, and we saw that happening there. I mean, sure there was some gimmicky stuff with vacuuming to the cliff, but whether or not you vacuum to the cliff, I just think that MVP are well positioned to take that fight at the rush pits, and they deliberately set those fights up, and I think it's very clever thinking of them, even though the first one didn't go as well as they thought it would.
Raven already did get the silence off an MP. He has to run. He's running very, very quickly actually. Thinking about going back in. AO is in the neighborhood, so maybe they can try again for MP. I just realized, you know, we talked about maybe like a Manta style after the Battle Fury, but we're not seeing that. We're seeing that he's going straight for more damage, and it seems like he has, you know, plenty of faith in his team. He's gone for the Crystallis, he's already picked it up. So
yeah, it's confidence in positioning, in teamwork, that I'm not going to get caught by Orchid and then just get burst down, and I kind of like that. I like that commitment to your plan. Like with Ember Spirit, the timing you're waiting for really is the Daedalus, usually Battle Fury Daedalus, and then suddenly you're like this huge force to be reckoned with. And when Ember Spirits have to go back for the Mantle, the BKB in between, they offset that timing and give a new opening. Also the Manta style, not so good against the Sven's Cleave, obviously. But I like this, and we'll see. Maybe there'll be a fight where he gets totally played out of the fight by the Orchid, and it will look like a bad decision in retrospect.
Caught it immediately, and the media combo, but he's going to use himself up, so he's not going to take any damage from that. He's still kind of stuck in the gap, and the armor, the wall cry coming up from Raven. Shuriken Toss is bouncing around a bit, and you can see the MP.
There's a BKB on Raven. He's got a
he's going ham. He's going straight for Kyo. Can he get this down? No, the defense is swap on Dubu just in the nick of time. But he's still going to lose the Aegis anyways, and MP taking quite a fair bit of damage, going to just remnant away, and they're going straight for Kyo. Who's tracked up, the Ghost Walk isn't going to help you except provide some more movement speed, and that's a lovely vacuum from Forev. You can see the Warriors Punch catching Sam H. Kyo. Needs to do a bit more with the Shuriken Toss, and the Stars Bounty Hunter is going to get the kill, and here we're going to impair for Winter G. They're going straight on Febby, and MP stop taking plenty of clean from Raven, and it's a 4 for nil trade, and we could take into account the Aegis, that's a 5 for O trade.
Yeah, the introduction of Sven's BKB just phenomenal there. I think that as soon as MVP realized, hey, Sven is BKB, they realized that this is not a fight that we can very easily win, and they tried briefly to turn it around with the Darkseer combo, but I think it was pretty apparent that it wasn't enough, and this is why I think, partially at least, why Ember Spirit goes straight to the damage, because they want to be in a position where when they hit the 3-hero vacuum, they're always getting a lot of value out of that. They're always going to kill a lot of people, and right now that's not happening. In some ways, the big AoE combo is actually set up for TNC, because Sven then turns around and says, hey, well, you're also banished, and just cleaves through them.
So BKB catching them off guard. Oh, there's actually a gem on the floor. Lion's gonna pick it up, and alright. So TNC will just go back to resetting the clock as they look to stack more ancients and get this Sven bigger. So
And I really love this Etherlands bounty answer. I think it's like really cool actually.
3.3k gold now. What does he buy? I think he completes the Greaves.
He could go for Greaves. Greaves could be pretty good for his team. Obviously, because he has Tranquils, there's like that slight inefficiency, but I don't know, I could see him getting some more damage. I've seen Bounty Hunters go Dagon at this point in time, or physical damage, or BKB, or go straight for Hex or Necrobook. There's actually, Bounty Hunter is such an interesting hero in that like, there aren't a lot of items that it has to get. Yeah, so he gets the 4 stuff. You know, it's like a decision of like which utility item is going to be most useful to the team right now. He decides the 4 stuff. I don't think they had any before that, am I right? Yeah, first 4 stuff of the game for your team is always extremely valuable.
Not to mention great for the hiding heroes around, especially against heroes like this Sven. You just need to bait out the fights. Once its God Strength wears off, you stand a better chance of fighting. So you can't really take them head on, just to bait them into fights which you really want. So...
And there's a interaction, right? There's a, even though it doesn't, 4 stuff doesn't go further with the lens, but it lets you force people from further. So if you're using it defensively to save your teammates,
they're gonna
you can
smoke
do
up.
that from a safer distance.
TNC, 4-man smoke with the Bird Mother. She has a Blink Dagger, so I gotta admit this is not your usual item, except when when you're usually alone in a lane. You want a rat?
Yeah, but this is because they feel they're being disrespectful.
Oh, they're going on AO. Mech pops up, and Raven's gonna find Nubu Tornado, throwing everyone up in the air, and they will go straight for Kiro, realizing, hey, Nubu's not really the prime target, but we kill him first, and then we'll go straight for Kiro. Finger to finish him off, and the Sven, one more right click, easy. One big spank from that huge cleave.
Because the Ember Spirit hasn't gone for Mantle BKB, I think that's why the Breed goes for Blink, saying, well, if you're not going to respect my Orchid, I'm going to make sure that I Orchid you every single fight. I mean, in this fight, the Ember's not best, they Orchid the Invoker, and Invoker uses defensive Yules, and they're like, well, hello, we've got Shakira, and this is one of the strengths of the Shakira hero, that it really punishes the defensive Yules.
And this is a T2. If anything, this potentially could lead to a high ground push, or at least baiting out the buyback. So there's a zoning on wall.
Does he have it?
No, he doesn't have it. Yeah, but I think that's what they have in mind. That's usually the plan. And that's a very nice ward over here. It's going to scout TPs out, and TNC can't really do anything about it. We're just playing with the Jakiro.
Yeah, and the way this game is playing out, you see more and more why Ember Spirit feels like he has to go straight for Daedalus, right? Because he needs to have that big damage, because it feels like the pressure is absolutely on MVP. There was a stage early on where it felt like the game was even and they were managing TNC well, but all it took was a couple of fights and some track kills, and TNC have got a big gap. And in terms of the draft, I feel like TNC have quite a big advantage anywhere outside of the Darkseid's influence.
And now MP, he actually has the money to buy the full Daedalus right now. Plus, of course, he's saving for buyback. Oh, actually, wait, no, he's turned around, he's bought an ultimate orb. This could be a Lincoln Spear, or maybe even a Skadi, just so that he can kite around to spin more.
Yeah, it could even just be the Manta Star, right? The standard build we expected. I mean, once you have the Chrysalis, I gotta say, the other items, the Skadi, the Lincolns, the BKB, the Manta Star, those items actually do add up to more DPS once you have the Chrysalis. It's just the build where you go Battle Fury straight into something else, then the damage is underwhelming. It looks like he's gonna actually go for a Skadi. He bought all the Venom around his stuff.
Oh, they go straight for Dubu, but blocked off by the shard. What a save! And Dubu is going to stun Raven, stun, and the blink. Great teamwork again, beautiful teamwork as you can see here from MVP. Ayo's just going to provide vision of Febby, say hi to him, provide a couple of hits, and that's the God Strength faded out. And wait for Snowball to the creeps, just sticking around, saying hi. So this is space created at MP. Push us out the top, and the bottom lane.
Darkseid has a blink now, which I think is really big. It's a really big pickup. Or top lane, TE is just going straight onto Q as he TPs in, but there's going to be an Ember Spirit coming in as well, so TE will back off. But what I want to say is, I think that the Darkseid has been and is still the centerpiece for MVP in winning fights, and when he gets a new item, like for example Blink, that's something that TNC really have to respect.
And he's just gonna ram them around the map, split pushing. So this BOT is really paying off, and he's all the same. I mean, I talked about how he was so close to a Daedalus. He's really close to a Scotty right now. He's just another 300 more gold. This Sven is
At
starting to
which
fall
point
off.
it makes them very tanky, and it's really nice to be able to kite people in fights. If you use Sleight of Fist and a Scotty, it like slows everyone. But at the same time, with this build, with the Battle Free, Chrysalis, and Scotty, if TNC get the jump on him with the Brood and the Spin, even the Lion blinking on him, the Ember Spirit is going to die. And I think, again, as you said earlier, the expectation from MP is just that his teammates, either Venge is going to save him, Tusk is going to save him, or Darkseid is going to be able to jump in and turn things around.
So I guess he just just putting a lot of faith into MP right now to carry his team, and for F he just has to pull off one amazing vacuum. This is how intense this game is right now. 16 to 28 to 32 minutes in. The net worth chart in favor of TNC. Actually, they're gonna find Dubu, Febby. Oh wait, no, they're gonna find Ayo instead. It's just a bait, and the sentry, the casual sentry for F. Vacuum for 2, and of course the wall to follow. So the Shuriken is just bouncing around his work, but it gets fingered before he gets Ayo, and somehow Invoker coming into Sunstrike. The stun going on straight on MP. Ramming down. Silence, and he's just gonna die. Doesn't even get to pop the one charge, and they will smoke to try and catch somebody. Gonna go straight on Dubu. Yup, it's gonna be a 3-for-1 trade.
That's literally what I was just saying. Sven, Broodmother, and Lion blink onto Ember Spirit, and if Ember Spirit is isolated, and the reason that happens actually is because MVP started that fight but at a different part, at like a different part of the forest, and that means that Ember Spirit gets isolated by the 3 blinkers from TNC, and they make easy work of that Ember Spirit. And even if he had his completed Eye of Scotty there, I think that they still kill him. Well, TNC decide now's the time to try and capitalize on Rush, but it's immediately being pinged out by MVP, and this could be very dangerous. There's no mana on Lion at all.
Yeah, this is really, really very risky. I mean, your Darkseid is coming out in 10, but you don't have the Ember Spirit, so you don't have to follow up damage. Unless you get a good vacuum into a media combo. So, yep, TNC, they figured, hey, it's too risky, let's just back out, reset for now.
And Lion's going to suck some mana out of creeps. That's
actually, maybe
gonna come
not.
back as good as new.
To TP. Oh wait, they stole the Force Spirit. Okay, that's pretty smart. Teehee now running around 451 movement speed, a very fast dragon.
Darkseid doesn't have wall just yet, so there's still potential for combo.
Comes the tornado combo. Teehee. Oh, they do get the combo up with QO, swapped out immediately by Dubu, who's gonna pay for his life, and QO getting spanked down by Raven in this huge stick. One more right click. Actually, no, blinks out. And Savage going here on MP. He's gonna back off, and Febby doesn't really get the Warrior's Punch off, and the BKB and Savage really starting to prove itself very useful. MP, oh, they found him. I think he's just dead. You don't run away from this, not like this. Oh no, the deafening blast was brilliant, but it wasn't there.
He doesn't have tools for survival. That's the thing with this board. I mean, sure, he's
they're gonna
tanky,
keep on
but
going.
once they're on him down.
Forev, you're in the wrong neighborhood. And QO once again trying to save his team. There's no buybacks on anybody, and the vacuum doesn't really connect into anybody as Winter G sucking out the mana from Forev. Sunstrike not gonna land. Actually, it will, and Iron is dead. Gem is on the floor, and Broodmother's gonna kill the Darks here. So this is gonna be a 4-for-1 trade favoring TNC, and they will just run straight back to the Roche Pit before they try for maybe a T2 or maybe a T3. And
it's actually kind of hilarious to me. TNC keep winning fights, but somehow in the middle of a fight, the TNC wins. Kuro is always killing at least one person with a Sun's Kick. Like, just like, I don't know. Kuro is actually TP'd into the back line. He's trying to contest with all on his own.
Oh, he's gonna get silenced up, tracked up, used up in the air. Does he blink out from this? Tracked out. I don't think he run from this. Yep. Hitting blast, trying to slow things down. Can't use his blink. The spiders cancelling his blink, and he's gonna try and blink. No way, Sam Hage blinks in front of him. Spider Venom doing its work. Kyo, Tornado again. He's buying so much time. This Octarine core doing so much work. And Raven yields up in the air. Blink out maybe. Yes, he will. And the chase for Kyo lays on the ice wall. He actually lives.
This is one of the best players I've ever seen in Dota. I mean, Kyo was going in there fully knowing that he might die. He's trying to stop the enemy team from rushing. They did stop rushing. They all chased him around. Sven eventually came as well, because Sven didn't feel safe in the rush put on his own. And they don't even kill Kyo. And I honestly think that Kyo went into that play thinking, you know what, I might die, but I'm going to stop them from rushing. And he doesn't die. He doesn't die. I mean, please, someone make that into a clip, because that is Some phenomenal ballsy play from Kyo and very,
You know, here they're going straight for this as they bring Vintage into the clip, but that's not the one you want on the clip. Duba's gonna swap out MP. Who is okay, he's gonna get tracked out and silenced up, and Lion gonna finger down the Ember Spade immediately as right now 5 heroes for him. I'm not sure how good MP's Invoker is, but I only saw some magic, but I don't think this is gonna be enough. Febby's gonna go get himself killed. Gonna be 4 for 0.
You know what happened? As the fight started, Kyo didn't have TP. He had 10 seconds left on his TP, and it's the same kind of thing. So there's a fight at the rush, but the Invoker can't get there. Obviously, TNC have a very big advantage. The MVP didn't want to let the rush go, but they didn't really have a way to contest it without the Invoker. And Kyo forced to just split push now, and he's going to try and put as much pressure as he can. But it's a bit of an oversight from MVP that the Invoker couldn't TP in, and they weren't able to avoid that force pretty close fight.
Ice Path, they're gonna find QO. Can they kill him this time? There's no backup, no follow-up at all.
But still, it's finally. I mean, this is the second rush, right, of the game. There was one rush before this, but I feel like the teams have been fighting over who gets this rush for like the last 15 minutes, and finally a rush is killed. It is TNC that get it. The Broodmother has the Aegis. Sven picked up an Assault Cuirass in between. And TNC are looking extremely good in this matchup. I honestly, I don't know. I feel like it's time for Embersport to go back to the damage, finish the data list, maybe even buy a Rapier. Because barring Embersport getting big items, they're going to keep relying on Kyo just making phenomenal plays. And I think there's a limit to that. I don't know, maybe once he gets to level 25 and he's got that maxed out Deafening Blast, that could help a lot in these fights.
Maybe, but I'm not sure about the Rapier thing for now, because the thing is, TNC, they've been playing this excellent. They know who to focus on. They've been just taking care of MP, making sure that he hasn't been able to dish out the impact of full damage which he should be with Forever. And besides taking out one, they don't want to take out the Embers with the Darks here to fight this one. So I don't know, man. QO, you're a magician, but you really conjure up that much magic to beat this and just carry his team.
Or they try capture, they don't fight. But that's why I'm saying that Embersport needs to stop thinking that way. I mean, it's a different question where he gets the farm, but he needs those big all-in plays, those big items for damage, because the game is slipping away from MVP very, very quickly.
And I'm still pretty confident that he needs a defensive item, at least like a BKB or something. Because if not, the silence is really hurting him. And right now, middle lane, they're going straight for this push. You know, oh wait, he's just going straight for the stun. 3 hits and fingered down. Oh, there we go, Kyo. The level 22 Deafening Blast.
And
oh, back here into the wall, it's huge! 4-man! Peppy, is that a follow-up Kyo? 4-staff guard trying to save him, but Kyo, does he have buyback? He'd be forced to buyback here, I think. Yes, he will. You know, MP pushing the top T1, and there's still no lane of Rex with TNC just yet. He will have to TP back and join his team to fight Kyo, making all these plays, slowing down. He's just delaying them so much. And Raven, now the steering chain's gonna save him, and of course, beautiful defensive snowball catching him and going straight for Winter G. And there comes MP. Darkseid's gonna kill Raven, and they're gonna go chase down Ayo. The Aegis is gonna get popped on the Broodmother as MP's gonna try and racking down Sam H. Is the gem on the floor? Anybody? There we go. MP getting some 1,000 gold from killing off Sam H, and they will go for a bit more. They will keep the bounty as well. It's a 4, actually make that a 5 for 0 trade, and they get the top lane of Rax as well. So MVP somehow coming out on top.
And bot Rax maybe too. At those rates, are they buybacks on TNC? Are people gonna come respond to Kyo?
I'm not going to start now.
Yeah, they have to. They try not to buy back the core, they buy back the bounty, and so I don't know if that's enough actually to hold Kyo back. I think he's gonna insist that they buy back the core.
Needs one more right click. Oh, they do get the tower anyways. Denied by Jakiro.
This is, I mean, other than Kyo just playing exceptionally well, it's TNC not respecting the power of buyback. That's what it is. Like, the way TNC committed in that mid push, you could tell very clearly that they sort of thought, we killed Invoker, we won the game, let's go. And he buys back, and it's disastrous for them.
Oh, they find AO. Couldn't really get it, but MP chains off. And Broodmother and Sven, they are forced to buy back MVP. You need to just retreat right now. This is not the fight. This is not the play. The use of him nuking a stun, but MP, oh, this is a disaster. Swapped out immediately, but Dubu defensive stun. And where's the finger? Oh, saved by the snowball. But somehow Dubu still dies. Broodmother, here comes the Deafening Blast. They're gonna find MP who's running for his dear life. He needs to get out, and the chains needs the stun. He will fall anyways. He still has buyback, but 3 down, and the top lane is being pushed in by Foref. And the gem is on the floor. This is
just so incredible. This is just, I mean, until a few minutes ago, TNC had a 20,000 gold lead, 20,000 experience lead, And they're the ones that have been raxed. They've been raxed top, both raxes are dead, but they've lost their tower. They didn't even finish the rax in the mid lane, and that's exceptional play from MVP. At the same time, TNC are like still, I want to say, ahead in this game, because the Invoker doesn't have buyback for, what, another 5 minutes? If he dies, the game is almost over, just like that. TNC might be able to, I don't know, I was going to say they could try and force the Embers buyback now too, but it looks like they're nervous to actually get there that quickly.
And this is really some very, very intense duel between these two teams right here. So, I mean, we still haven't really agreed on what item the Ember should go for. I believe you're all about the YOLO Divine Rapier, right?
Well, he finished the Daedalus, that was my first part of his plan. But yes, I think that next... I don't know, things have changed since then, that's the thing, they've done quite well, but I do still think, yeah, I think they maybe need him to go.
Oh, they're going straight in for Kyo, he's gonna swap that, but Dubu immediately, and Dubu's gonna get whacked up, but Kyo is perfectly fine with it for now, just kidding. And the snowball not really gonna save anybody, and wait, does he get saved by Kyo? Kyo is still alive, and the Yo's keeping him there. He needs to blink out, Kyo is dead with no buyback. And oh, this is a disaster. You see everyone here, no buyback on MVP except the Ember Spirit. He has 3 seconds left, so he didn't want to use the buyback, but this will be a lane of Rex. Anything should be maybe going straight for the throne. They can consider this.
Yeah, they could.
Oh, they're going here on MP. And silence stop and 4-star forward. He's just dead.
He's got a buyback, right?
Yeah, he has a buyback.
But is he enough? That's the question. I don't think he is enough. Maybe he cooks on every single slide.
Maybe. For your life, MP, what are you doing, MP? And the vacuum bag sandwich into the fountain. It's not quick enough. MP holding on for your dear life as Raven hitting onto the T4s. This is just looking so intense right now. And he's gonna Remnant Fort going for T and Vintage with a beautiful intel catching too. But somehow Raven, he doesn't care. He's just going straight for the throne.
Okay.
Gonna pause, get a bit of lag, but still this. Oh my god, what's gonna happen here?
I don't know, this is nail-biting stuff because actually Ember Spirit's got a lot of work done because the Sven the Sven and the line have just been standing attacking the throne and the towers the whole time. So the Ember Spirit's had a lot more space and okay, it's actually time, let's all go to the Ember Spirit.
MP needing to down here, but Febby going for the snowball. MP side of this, not really going to do that much. Steven does kill off the bench. MP is getting right click down. He needs to run it back into the fountain. He will, and now the buyback comes up for Raven. He's going straight for the throne. Does he have mana for God Strike? No, he does not. And 4F gonna play Raven right here. They need to do something. They need to kill Raven right now. They can't do it, but MP immediately hacks up, immediately locked down. Gonna get 4-star for and silence up. Mage going to get an MP. Does he get the side of fist off? Yes, he does. He needs to Remnant back in. He's still alive. QO. They need MP. They need MP back right now. And there's Raven finally going to fall down here. And Sandhage right clicking the throne. Does he have the damage? I don't think he does.
The Lion's trying to throw him. The Lion's trying to throw him.
Fine, hit the throne! No! He's still trying to end it 200 HP. He just does not have the damage for down. No, here comes Teehee. Data fortification, Teehee. This is so close. Oh, did it kill him right here? Sunstrike. 170 HP and no buyback on anyone except the Lion. They have to go all in right here. MVP, they're going straight for the throne.
They're gonna win. MVP's gonna win.
What? What just happened, Scans?
MVP are about to win this game. Lion cannot do this alone. There's no way. There's no way.
There's no way in hell he does this alone. Ah, he did, and I think TNC just lost.
This is yeah. This is one of the most awesome Dota games I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god.
There were some plays by both teams. The drafts were interesting. I mean, even now, as MVP killed the TNC Ancient, there's like a 20k lead for TNC as their throne goes down. What an absolutely incredible! Wow.
So
classic TNC vs MVP. MP says it, and that says it all. Like what a matchup this is. The best of 5 that they played right before the Shanghai Major was just like this. It was really intense stuff, and I'm just so happy it's not a